Madrid and the Champions League is a love story that never ends, a sentence that is repeated. But have you asked yourself how this story began? In this video you will know the full stories and we will answer the questions that are in people's minds. Why does Real Madrid not give up? Why do its fans not lose hope? From where was the champion personality born? Stay until the end because through telling this exciting story we will conclude the answers to these questions. The story began in late 1954, when the English club Wolverhampton played friendly matches and won against strong teams like the Hungarian Hand, so the British press came out with an exciting headline, "Wolverhampton are the champions of the world." This title did not please the French journalist Gabriel Hanet and his colleague Jacques Ferrand from L'Equipe, so Hanet wrote a famous article in which he said, "Before we say they are world champions, they must face Real Madrid and Milan first in an official competition." When the French newspaper proposed the idea of creating a continental competition for clubs, it faced rejection or hesitation from local federations, but there was a man who saw what others did not see. Santiago Bernabeu. When the French newspaper L'Equipe came with the idea of a competition gathering the champions, many laughed, but Santiago Bernabeu was the only one who realized the size of the opportunity. Bernabeu started working in order to make Real Madrid the controller of this upcoming competition. He built the Chamartin Stadium, which was later named after him, to be the biggest in Europe at that time, targeting a capacity reaching 125,000 spectators. And he signed legends like Stéfano and Puskas to create a team capable of winning the new L'Equipe competition, which actually happened by dominating the first 5 editions. The French newspaper was very impressed with what Bernabeu achieved, to the point that it described Real Madrid after the 5th title as the team that reinvented football. The first generation did not achieve 5 consecutive titles because they were only the best technically, but because they planted the genes of greatness. Those men wrote a history that made the white shirt shine with achievements, not anything else. There the confidence was born, that this club was created to be first or not to be. And this is not just words, but we saw it on the pitch. In the first final in the competition, Real faced the French team Stade de Reims in its home in Paris. Real was behind twice, 2-0 then 3-2, but the spirit of the remontada was born there, as they turned the table and won 4-3 thanks to goals from Di Stéfano, Hector Real, and Marquinhos. And in the second title, they won against the Italian Fiorentina, which held defensively for a long time. But a penalty from Di Stéfano and a goal from Gento in the second half decided the match with a 2-0 result, making Real the first team to win the title at its home. And it did not stop at this, but they faced Milan in the third final, and it was the hardest final of that era. The match was marathon-like and went to extra time after a 2-2 draw. In the 107th minute, Paco Gento scored the killer winning goal, 3-2. In the 4th title, Real Madrid confirmed its superiority over French clubs, as the first final was repeated against Stade de Reims, but this time in Stuttgart. Real scored a very early goal through Mateos, then Di Stéfano added the second to end the match 2-0. In this tournament, Real Madrid proved that it does not always need the drama of remontada to win. In the 5th final in a row, can you imagine 5 consecutive finals? This is an unbelievable number. Anyway, in that final in Glasgow, Real delivered what historians consider the greatest football performance of all time. They faced Eintracht Frankfurt and won with a historic result 7-3. Puskas scored 4 goals and Di Stéfano scored 3 goals. This was the peak of the empire, 5 consecutive titles, a record that still stands until today. After that, they played 3 more finals, lost 2 of them and won against Partizan Belgrade 2-1. This title was the 6th for the legend Gento, the historical record for a single player. This beginning symbolized the birth of the champion, a champion with the prestige of a king. But like every great journey story, the hero must go through difficult conditions that test his patience and determination, and the matter does not include the hero alone but also his fans. So where did these difficulties come from and how did the Royal Club and its fans deal with them? After the departure of the Golden Generation and the death of the legend Santiago Bernabeu in 1978, the club faced an administrative and spiritual vacuum. It turned from a terrifying European team into a purely local team, winning the Spanish league but falling against European clubs no one had heard of. Like Derby County, an unknown team that Real lost to with a humiliating result 4-1. This match was a spark showing that Real began to lose its prestige even against middle-class clubs in Europe. And the Hamburg scandal, after Real won in Madrid 2-0, everyone thought qualification to the final was guaranteed, but in Germany, in a shocking way, Real completely collapsed and lost 5-1. And the most painful, the Paris tragedy 1981, Real reached the final against Liverpool and lost by a killer goal in the last minutes. And above all this, in 1989 in the Champions League semi-final against AC Milan, they received a historic 5-0 loss. Of course, with all these losses and disappointments, the team's confidence began to shake, and arrows of mockery started piercing the players and fans of Real Madrid, expressed in harsh phrases like "You lack international personality, and your victories only came because of weak opponents at that time, and you are living on the ruins of Stéfano." The team suffered administrative instability and coaching changes, and the players lost confidence in themselves in European nights. The Bernabeu Stadium became a place of pressure on players instead of support because of the fans' fear of another failure. For 32 years the champion was chained with the chains of defeat, but he did not surrender. He kept trying to break those chains, trying and failing, until the awaited night came, the night of May 20th, 1998. The night of breaking the chain. In that season, Real was very bad in the league, 4th place, and everyone mocked, how can a team that cannot win at home defeat strong Juventus? But then came Mijitovic's goal, a goal that for the mockers was like a muzzle that shut their mouths, and for Madrid it was a scream coming out of the throat of fans who were silent for 32 years. That night, the elders who had witnessed the 1966 title wept, while the youth, who had never seen Real Madrid crowned champions, shouted in disbelief. The long chain of pain melted under the fire of determination, and mockery turned into shock in the face of everyone who claimed that Real Madrid was finished. And it did not stop there, it followed it with the title of May 24, 2000, after defeating their fellow countrymen Valencia 3-0, in addition to the title of May 15, 2002 and Zidane's famous goal. But unfortunately, the team collapsed once again for 12 years. However, this time something felt different. You could sense that Real Madrid and its fans were no longer the same. Yes, they were saddened, but instead of losing hope because of poor results, they began writing and remembering everything, the tears of children that fell due to the mockery from other fans, and the harsh defeats they endured. This did not come from nothing, it was driven by their belief that their team would no one knew when, but they were certain it would happen. But how would this return happen? And what would that revenge look like? In 2014, the phoenix that died rose from its ashes. The fans started returning to the writings they wrote so they would not forget their revenge. The journey of revenge began with Dortmund, the club that defeated them in the 2013 semi-final with 4 goals in 1 match in the first leg, and Real went out with tears of Ramos and Chris in the second leg despite winning 2-0. Real faced them in the quarter-final and crushed them in the first leg 3-0, paving the way to lift the missing trophy. We will not go far. The second victim was also from Germany, Bayern Munich, who eliminated Madrid in the 2012 semi-final in the famous Ramos penalty night that went to the sky. Bayern eliminated Real from the semi-final in Madrid. The German media called them Das Bestia Negra, the Black Beast of Real. The giant of Germany did not know what was coming. It was a historic night. Guardiola was the coach and Bayern was the world champion. The result? 4-0 for Real in the heart of Allianz Arena. That night was an execution of the Black Beast title. After this match, Real Madrid went to Lisbon to face Atletico Madrid. Real was delayed by a goal from Godin since the first half. Minute 70 passed, 80, then 90. Rival fans started celebrating, and tears began to appear in the eyes of Madridistas. Will we really lose? The answer came in minute 92:48, and while the world was preparing to announce the fall of the king, Ramos rose to embrace the sky. That header was not a goal, it was an earthquake. In extra time, Atletico collapsed mentally and physically. Bale scored, then Marcelo, then Ronaldo, to end the match 4-1. Real Madrid returned to its rightful place as the champion of Europe, and this match ended, but the revenge did not end. In 2009, Real suffered one of the harshest defeats in its modern history, losing at Anfield 4-0. That night was a disgrace, and everyone mocked Real's fragile defense. This time, the revenge was not just a win, but a show of power. Real defeated Liverpool in the 2018 final 3-1, then eliminated them in 2021, and then the final blow came in the 2022 final. And the most painful? Returning to Anfield in 2023 and winning 5-2, the same stadium that witnessed Real's humiliation before, witnessed the humiliation of the Reds later. Madrid did not only take revenge on Germany and England, but also went to Italy. In 2003, Real had Zidane, Ronaldo, and Figo, but Juventus eliminated them from the semi-final 3-1, in a match where Figo missed a penalty. The revenge was delayed, but it was terrifying. In the Cardiff 2017 final, Real faced the strongest defense in the world, Juventus, and destroyed it 4-1. Real Madrid, its players, and its coaches continued breaking records, achieving 6 titles in 10 years. Real Madrid became the first club to surpass 1,100 goals in the history of the competition, with a scoring average exceeding 2 goals per match, became the highest scoring team in finals with 44 goals. Cristiano became the player with the most goal contributions in the history of the competition with 183 contributions, and the most goals in a single season, 17 goals, in 2014. After we finish telling this exciting story, let us begin answering the 3 questions. First, why does Real Madrid not give up? Real Madrid does not give up because its experiences made it certain that no matter how long the darkness of the night is, the light of the day will inevitably come, even if after 32 years of darkness. Second, why do its fans not lose hope? I will not give you a normal answer, no, but I will tell you a scene that delivers the idea. Imagine a father carrying his little child and playing with him by throwing him in the air. Although the child is in the sky, you find him laughing because he is certain that his father will not let him fall no matter how high he goes. I think the idea has reached. Thirdly, where did the hero's character originate? This is a question you should answer in the comments. Like and follow if you enjoyed the video, and if you have any suggestions for improving the content, please leave them in the comments. Thanks for watching until the end. See you in another video.